Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Heartwell dev stream, the live stream series where I continue to develop this adorable Souls-like action RPG with platforming mechanics and a branching narrative. If you enjoy watching these dev streams, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and boop that bell button to stay notified. And hello, Copper Nicholson, thanks for dropping by. How's it going? Well, you're asking what you missed, so far, Copper Nicholson, nothing. I just started up the dev stream a little bit later than usual, but I have some great news about that lad I was noticing last stream. So chat, remember how we had a significant amount of lag, especially over here with all these rattlesnakes? Well, off stream, I decided to dig into the code a bit and try to figure out what might, if there was any programming thing that might have been causing it. And it turns out it was actually caused by one line of code from way back in the early stages of developing the code for the cobras. So let's see if I can pull that up for a second. So around here, this line right here used to be the cause of all the lad problems. So there used to be a line here, chat, where after the last thing has been destroyed, for each of the rattlesnakes, you'd actually have to save a value kind of like this to the save file array. And what that would do, the way I thought this was written is that would only work after like a melee attack to save like information to allow multiple opponents to get hits with a single melee attack. That was the whole point of this line. However, what actually ended up happening is like 99% of the time there's no melee swipe. So this was happening every single time that a melee swipe was not on screen. So it was constantly saving information, like writing the same information into the save file array like every single like millisecond or things like that. Alright, hi Lynn, thanks for dropping by. How's it going? Welcome. But as I was saying, what happened was you were constantly just writing save file values unnecessarily constantly, and that was causing a lot of lag in situations where there were a lot of enemies on screen, because for each individual instance of these enemies, that would be writing a value to the save file, right? And you know, there's a lot of enemies here, so it was causing a noticeable amount of lag. As a result, what I did to resolve that was simply remove that line, and it turns out that solved a massive problem. So I think it cut down the amount of... I actually opened up Task Manager when I was looking into this to see what was happening. There was like a massive spike in like disk writing, like the amount of information being written to the disk to like save onto the disk, like your hard drive, so to speak, because of this line. When I removed that section from the line, it reduced the amount of disk writing by like a factor of 10, and the performance, like the performance is night and day. Like now it's silky smooth like it was before in testing. But so I ended up going through all of my main frames over there to remove that, because I realized that was a pretty massive problem, and it's helped performance quite a bit. Now I don't have a fix necessarily yet for the infinite jump animation glitch, but I do know that the infinite jump animation glitch seemed to be occurring in situations of high lag. So at least for now, I haven't noticed that glitch happening anymore, because there isn't that insane amount of lag due to the unnecessary save file array stuff right at the moment. Suffice to say, it's a good thing for Heartwell, and it means that now there should be fewer issues, shall we say, with just getting our inputting our enemies into these areas for testing purposes. And speaking of doing that, you got the level editor, well, the tile map editor up here. We're actually pretty close to setting up all the enemies for this upper level here. So we've done this section, we've done this section, we did these sections over here. Really, the last part up is going to be this last top section. So we're gonna place some cobras, we'll place some cobrattles, we'll place some rattlesnakes. It'll be a jolly fun time. Hey Grakor, welcome. How's it going, dude? So Grakor, as I was explaining, off stream, I actually did some investigating into Heartwell's code, and I was actually able to fix the cause of the lag that we saw last stream. So you want to guess what it was, Grakor, that was causing all that lag? It actually wasn't me streaming this. It was something else entirely. Actually, let's make sure that rattlesnake is properly coded. You're correct, Raptor. That actually was it. So it was actually this line right here. So this line is designed to make it so that a melee attack can hit multiple enemies at once. Without this line, that wouldn't work. So you could have, like, for example, using the axe swing against 3 rattlesnakes and only hit 1 without this line. But with this line, it allows all 3 of them to be hit by the same melee swipe, you know, logically. But the way it used to be coded is it used to, on this line, have to write a value of 0 to the save file array. And what that was doing is this line was being checked constantly because when the last of this has been destroyed, that's basically most of the time, since most of the time the player's not doing a melee attack. You were just, the more enemies you added, the more unnecessary values you were writing into the save file array constantly, and that was what was causing all the lag. The lag was actually not, it wasn't a question of like RAM, it was a question of disk writing. So like unnecessarily saving information constantly. So we removed that, and it turns out it still functions as intended without that, and it reduced the amount of disk space, like the amount of disk writing that was occurring from Heartwell IL by more than a factor of 10. So that definitely helped. That helped a lot. So now, despite having so many rattlesnakes over here, it's still buttery smooth. See, everything it feels fine. I haven't seen the infinite jump animation glitch occurring because again, that was the major source of lag, and now it's no longer there. Yep. Oh, it was, yeah, it was a massive waste of resources, so I'm glad we caught it now, you know? Because if not, it definitely would have significantly hampered things. And since it's fixed, now we're going to continue placing our enemies down here. I want to check this one, though, to make sure it has collision, since the way the collisions are mapped here, I need to have enough active objects for enemy collisions to pay on them. So let's just go to the top of the well, do some falling. All right. Okay, good. There is still. Oh. Also, forgot to mention, I was doing some testing. You're probably saying, Antomicx, why is Dorothy's stats so much higher? So this was probably me testing the first boss battle that I designed for Heartwell, which, by the way, it's functionally there. I do have some things that need to be programmed before and after the boss battle, but this was from what you're seeing here is my optimal strats for doing as much damage as possible at a low level. And at least this was the optimal strats with the tomahawks as the ranged weapon and the fists as the melee weapon. And this ended up working out quite nicely. I was able to defeat the boss in like 50 seconds with a very aggressive playstyle, so it's worked out quite nicely. But the thing is, at weapon level and player level 0, without it took like I think closer to like 3 to 4 minutes with tomahawks and like 4 to 6 minutes with rocks. So the levels matter a lot. And I'm glad they do, because to me, at least, that makes them feel a lot more valuable to work towards. Oh, your family's considering an infinite data plan to teach your brothers that too. He says, oh, that's full Topper Nicholson. You'll have better Wi-Fi. Nice. Yeah, I've been rambling for like 10 minutes now. Let's get to dev building. All it's doing is incentivizing you to try to take the now level up. That's perfectly fine. I encourage that. I think Heartwell will be a very... I hope Heartwell will be a very fun game to challenge run. I mean, everything I'm doing very much falls in line with the Souls-like formula, so the Souls games are generally pretty fun to challenge run. Lots of skill involved and lots of planning. It's all part of the fun. But also be curious to see, like, yeah, I'm fully expecting people to break Heartwell. Like, I am fully expecting people to find like optimal builds that I can't even fathom, or like strats that are just blow my mind. And I'm looking forward to that, because that's all part of the fun of this too. All right, well, first things first, we need some cobras, and fortunately, there's only like 4 cobras in this area. So that shouldn't be too difficult to program, especially since 3 of the cobras... Actually, no, I take it back. All these cobras will be super easy to program because none of them have like the squiggly path to move around. They're all just rectangles. Perfect. Or as Patrick Star would say, rectangles. Anyway. So, what's the benefits of rectangles, you ask chat? Well, the benefits of rectangles is I don't have to do any like hard coding for the node finding path like that. The node finding code makes it super easy. I will need 4 of these though, so I mean, Copper Nicholson, if people want to mod the game, that's up to them. You know, it's a single player game, so. Again, I don't know. The thing about modding is I don't know how to make this like a heavily mod support game in this software. But at the same time, the software isn't exactly the hardest thing to learn. So I think if anything, people probably have the most benefit out of making fan games for Heartwell as opposed to modding it directly. But you know, if someone figures out how to do that, all the power to them. You know, have your fun. Just make sure that you're doing it for free, because again, Heartwell is still my IP. So you know, if you want to have like free mods to just, you know, have fun with friends or have fun with like a community, that's fine. I just don't want people making money off of something that I made, if that makes sense. Alright, so let's duplicate those. So chat, what we're going to test is the cobras. We're going to move them... Well, actually, now I think about it, I need to test something. I need to check something. Where's the Cobra height setting code? All right, I got that definitely needs to change or be added to. What kind of swimsuit would Dorothy wear? Probably just a standard. Oh, it's funny you asked that. Just like the question is, would Dorothy even swim? That is a good question. But if Dorothy did swim, like in like a swimming pool or something, she'd probably wear like a nice wholesome one piece. You know, like something you'd see like probably something you'd see like Olympic swimmers wear or things like that. Like. Does Toa wear a Reddoor? I don't think we've seen Toa wear a swimsuit. Probably more like the one that Laura wore. You know, it's like, it's a swimmer's outfit. It's not meant to be like super revealing. It's just meant to be functional. But yeah, it's like, I distinctly remember commenting on the fact that we did not see Toa in a swimsuit in Trails of Cold Steel Hill 1. So unless there was like some hidden side quest involving Toa in a swimsuit, I don't remember that. No. You're probably thinking of fan art, Rector. If we saw Toa in a swimsuit in Trails of Cold Steel 1, I would have remembered that. Like, I definitely would have remembered that. Alright, now where is the height setting line? I think it was further up. Up there it is. Okay, so what we need to do, chat, is make a couple of these for the different heights that the cobras will be at. So the heights the cobras will be at are 1, 1, and 2. Okay, so we just need a not too much to edit, just have to add some code for the level 2s. Okay, which again should be pretty straightforward. Slowly just copying code. Okay. There we go. Have our level 2s. That should make it so that it should automatically set the cobras to the heights that they start at. So if we move these over this way and just place them as such on our specified areas, we should have just some happy little cobras doing their happy little thing. Running. Slithering all around their favorite platforms. All right. I think this one will go down here in the bottom right. Start around the middle. Alright, now the real important thing to do here, chat, is to actually duplicate a bunch of these. So... I think we can probably get away with, I want to say 6. Okay, so what we'll do... So the benefit of this thing, chat, is that the cobra cannot pass through this. So it acts as like a hard functional check against them. And if this doesn't work, we'll just mock up some quick active objects that can block the cobra. Because we really don't need much to block these things off. That's gonna result in some overlap, though. Unless we edit this, since this was always for functional testing anyway. Okay, we need a space of 32 by 32 in here, so the easiest way to do that, copy that. That right there for testing purposes. Reasons, as we would say. Okay, delete that. Okay. Now just that. Okay. So 56 by 64, maybe? Yeah, that works. All right, now we're talking. Now we're talking. In fact, if we make this Yeah, honestly, this one we can just move over here because it's very much up. I'm pretty sure they can't go through the backdrops, so that should prevent them that way. Might be able to slow through that though, so we should be careful. I had 6 of these things. Was I mistaken? Oh, I do. Okay. Also, read messages SR Day. Oh, actually, it's been a while since I read messages SR Day. That's it. I absolutely love Star Trek The Next Generation. My favorite line is when Beverly Crusher said, I fell asleep reading a particularly spicy chapter in my grandmother's journal from the episode where she falls in love with a ghost inside a candle on planet Ireland. Yes, ghosts are a canonical part of the Star Trek TV universe. He was in love with Beverly's grandma and zapped Patrick Stewart with green lightning. Picard definitely has PTSD from all his physical and mental trauma and emotional breakdowns. I don't remember that episode, Copper Nickel said. I really don't remember that episode. You sure you're remembering that correctly, Copper Nicholson? Like, are there ghosts in Star Trek? In a manner of speaking, Star Trek is science fiction. Alright, let's put this one. Oh, that works out nicely. So the backdrops actually prevent other forms of collision, so that's mighty convenient. Means we can actually delete some of these extra ones. Might be beneficial just to remove the... How many pixels is that? Okay, it's 4 pixels. Okay, there we go. Much nicer. That should work for the cobras. We'll test it out, of course, but I think that'll work. Next, we need rattlesnakes and cobrattles. Yep. Rattlesnakes, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's throw a 6 there. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, 18 should be plenty. So 18 rattlesnakes and 4 cobrattles. Yep, well that should be 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. Don't need that one. Should be sufficient on the cobrattles. Now we just need 4. Bunch of these. Actually, no, we actually have the one in that top left corner, so we can delete this one too. Okay. I hope that placement's alright. We'll have to test that out. Rattle in the middle there. Now do some duplicating. Rattle in the corner. I think it was 2 cobrattles. Yeah. 2 cobrattles on either side are there. Be curious to see how this top section plays, because I feel like it could be pretty horrible with the rattlesnakes over here and the cobrattles on either side. That could be pretty vicious if one isn't careful. Anywho. Alright, we need 16 more of these. So first, let's get these ready. One's in chat. Out here. Okay. Alrighty. What was my favorite episode of Star Trek? Mine was when Captain Stewart went to that Cardassian spa planet. Favorite episode of Star Trek? Probably In the Pale Moonlight from Deep Space Nine. That's an excellent episode. Do I detect a hint of sarcasm, Cobra Nicholson? I don't want one more, actually. I was just saying Copper Nicholson and the Pale Moonlight would be my favorite Star Trek episode. What about you, Greco? Are you seen any Star Trek episodes you really like? I think that should work. Well, actually, no, we have to move these around as well. I haven't watched enough to have favorites. No worries about it, I appreciate the lurk. Though, if you're interested in stopping by for a second, we're actually about to test. We are about to test the, at least this section up here. So, let's see what happens. Oh, also should probably heal. Gotta actually be able to have some health to test this for. Alright, so the cobras seem to be doing alright. What? I'll have to double check the collision on that. I have the distinct feeling that they might all be on that one. Alright, well first, I think for safety purposes, let's just... So we'll want to actually start down here. I think what's happening is the detection thing is just barely squeezing through that gap, which is no big deal. So we want to start over here. No. I'm astounded that nothing is. Okay, so clearly there's something not quite right with the Cobra code. I'll have to check that. I probably disabled it, the movement here, or I might not have copied over the new Cobra code. We're definitely missing something because I'm seeing some weird stuff happening with the Cobra, so I don't think I probably haven't fully copied over the right code for this. Let's at least check the... Okay, so cobrattles seems to be working as intended. Just dodgy dodge. Oh dear. Well, I have to do that. Hold on a minute. I'll just temporarily give us an opening here so we can actually start from the top, so to speak. Alright, where is it? Where's the code I forgot to reactivate? Because there clearly is something isn't right here. Oh, wait a minute. Did I copy over enough? No, I did. There's 4 of those and there's 4 cobras. I should probably also check to make sure. Okay, that all made sense. Oh, wait, no. Players overlap. I didn't know that made sense. Is this the new one? Oh, that might be it. This is the... I think this is not the node finding code yet, so that would probably be it. Where's my node finding code? Do I even have my node finding code? Okay, I see the problem. So, I don't have the node finding code here. Unless I completely missed something. No, it's not here. Or if it is here, it's very well hidden. To the test frame. Yeah, no, that's definitely it. There's no node finding. Oh boy. Well, the one saving grace of this chat is that in this on this frame there actually is no node finding to be had. So I should, in theory, be able to just inactivate the pathfinding code because there's no pathfinding needed. It should always be basic movement. At the same time, but it probably would be better just to bring over her node finding anyway.
Very much alike.
Okay.
Remember all the happy times we had. Very much alike. All right. I'll tell you the truth.
Okay. Okay. Okay, let's bring over the objects we need, which is this and this. Okay, so there's actually no reference to that, so delete that. Okay. Okay, am I missing anything else? What purpose do you serve? Node finding objects. Absolutely no purpose. Okay. I will delete this one. Right now there's nothing here for that. I save that, that should delete that. No? You have no purpose. Go away. Oh, what's up, Raptor? What's up, man? Your mind, dude? I knew the transfer of the Pathfinder rework would have to happen eventually. It's just now that time has come to pass. Wondering what could have caused what, Raptor? That's collision. There's node finding. Oh, Rekor, so what caused this is I didn't copy over the rework code. So these frames down here were all created before I did the rework. So they don't have the new code for the cobras. That's why we saw the issue. So all I'm doing is I'm transferring that code to the frame now so that it'll be all set to go. You know, honestly, I should honestly just copy over the reworked Cobra as well, because I think that would probably solve this problem instantly. Well, nigh instantly. So there's the reworked Cobra. We'll just inactivate that Cobra. The one thing I would change about this is the Z-axis control. So again, we need to have some setups for this for the higher values. Yep. There's more of a busy work problem about things. It's at the Ripper. Yo, Spot Kid, thanks for dropping by. How's it? No, yeah, you're safe from Doomily today. Am I though? Am I? She's basically become a staple at this point of the Trails of Cold Steel 2 streams, which is kind of funny. I mean, isn't Doomily kind of representative of Trails of Cold Steel 2 in general? She is, I feel like Jubilee's the one character that understands how ridiculous everything is around her, but is incapable of comprehending her own ridiculousness, which is an endless source of entertainment for us viewers, shall we say. Almost every scene Jubilee's been in has been hilarious. And even the optional side banter she had was also pretty funny. I need the assistance of a game program yesterday, so let me do a thing real quick. I do. Oh, I see. Well, Redcore, we don't have joins the stream things on these types of nights. But if you want me to do some Serday voices, because I can. Return Jubilee, it's not you. Yeah, let me just refund those points for you, Director. In fact, this is probably a decent place to take a break, chat, so I'll be right back. Alright, chat, welcome back, everybody. I think that should have refunded your channel points, Stratcor, though let me know. But if you wanted to say hi to me, that is perfectly alright, Stratcor. I can certainly come in to help Antomicx from time to time. You can indeed, Sergey, you can indeed. It has been a while, though, hasn't it, Sergey? That is true. Though, I think that's because Leia's story seems to be resolved. Yes, do help us, Sergey. Alright, Sergey, so tell me, what can I do to improve my code here? Well, what programming language are you using, Antomicx? I'm not sure, Sergey. I'm using a software to make this game. You're using a software? Yep, Clickteam Fusion 2.5. I am not familiar with this primitive programming language. I guess that's true, Sergey. You are from several centuries in the future, so this would probably seem quite primitive to you. I guess you won't be as much use here as you thought. I can help you with basic logic, but beyond that, this is all very foreign to me. Yes, certainly knows basic. Yes, that's all you need in the future, right? Indeed, because in the future there's only one programming language. They've all been combined into a super language that's called Basic. I see, Sergey. That's actually kind of fascinating. Do you find that limiting? Not at all. If anything, I find it less confusing than how it used to be in centuries past, when there would be like hundreds or even thousands of programming languages. Oh, to be alive back then must have been insanely challenging. Perhaps, Sergey, but it's also had its own, it could also be rewarding in its own ways, too. I suppose so. Alright, let's test this out. Alright, well, so far I'm not seeing lag. They're invisible. Oh, wait a minute. No, I know the problem. It's centered on these, so if I move these over here... Looks like you've moved your, those objects into the improper location, Anton. That's what I'm thinking too, Sergey. Let's move these... Oh dear. So I think that should solve the problem. I hope. Okay, that's better, but they aren't respond. I wonder. No, they're not. Strange. Alright, something weird is going on. Must be something to do with the respawn code. Okay. This has worked perfectly before. This is the rework cobra code, right? No, the old code's deactivated. This is an indexing problem. It could be no, it totally is an indexing problem, I think. But I don't have a for each loop for the new thing. Indexing... Aha! I found it. Therein lies the problem. We don't have the correct indexing here, chat. The indexing has been incorrectly set. We must rectify this immediately. You must indeed, Antomicx, or else they'll... Imagine doing the entire MMORPG in basic. I don't have to imagine that, Bradcore. Or Cross Worlds is literally made with basic. There are some MUDs from back in the day that were basically... What does an MUD stand for, Bradcore? Alright, where's the line? Donde está? There it is. Okay. Okay, so we need that. I think that's the problem. Mayhaps. Okay, there we go. There we go. Well, almost. Okay, we have cobras. They just don't move. Clearly, there's something else I'm missing here. It's an improvement. They can at least attack us. They're basically test RPG MMOs from back before MMOs were a thing. Okay. Sounds intriguing, Bradford. Intrigued. Alright. So where is the problem? That is the real question. Oh, maybe it's an is-respond issue? Could be an is-respond issue. Let's check is-respond. Okay, so there is something different here in is-respond. Let's go over, that's where we were. All right, line 832, or 836-ish. Yeah, okay, there are some differences here. And activate that. Excuse me. Okay, it's not quite moving. And we probably had to fix the is-respond thing anyway. As far as I can tell, that was the only thing. Where it is? Wait a minute. Oh, no, there it is. All right, let's look at the pathfinding stuffs. Do we ever know find loops? Oh. Oh. Well, that would explain it. Yeah, herein lies the problem, chat. We found it. We found it. So what this is basically saying, chat, is if it's overlapping a floor tile, it can't move forward, which is a problem because this is basically forcing it to stay in one position. This is supposed to be our anti-move, our anti-soft lock, cobras getting stuck in walls code, but the problem is they're actually at higher elevations. So we can't have that. Now you might say, Antomicx, what is the solution to this problem? Well, the solution is to delete this here. That's saying, like, if you're on a floor tile, you have to stop. So, and then this was all done with the idea that this would be for. Let's copy that and inactivate it. Delete that, delete that, delete that. Basically, we're going to make it so that this will only stop on the walkable areas. Actually, we should probably have something for backdrops too. Yeah, we'll need something for. So this should make it so that we're no longer getting stuck when we're on top of a platform like that. Okay, that should work for that. Let's also double check the code down here. Alright, that all looks fine. That makes sense. Makes sense. Basic movements. Let's try it. Alright, if we get into its space. Cobra! Cobra! Hello! 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 Oh, that would do it too. We're colliding against the floor tiles, which means it's never getting a scan to actually switch to the movements. So let's go with I'll have to do another inactivate line for testing purposes. Collision between. Alright, delete that. You also delete all of this. This is just gross. Collapse with background makes sense. Okay. Now let's try this. Okay, alright. I saw some movement. I think it might be overly strict what we're doing here. My guess is what's happening is it's getting destroyed on that. So instead, what we'll do is... really should honestly just be the background in this case. So... lots of backgrounds. I think that should work. So ultimately what we want is the cobras to be... oh, there! We're dead. Okay. Try again. It was working. Strange. Well. Huh. Weird. If we just inactivated this line, what would happen? Oh, duh, I am dumb. Needs to be equal to that. Ah! I think. Maybe? No? Come on! Come on! Okay, I think if I had to guess what's happening, well, first let's make this visible so that we can see it. Okay, so it is still... interesting, so it's only shooting in that one direction. So clearly, it's not actually aiming at us, as you can see, chat, like it should be. So we're missing something here. Yeah, it almost works. We're missing a line of code somewhere, I think. Let's compare back to the test frame. Okay, so... okay, do we have this line? Or are there other lines here that I'm just not... okay, so I think it's going to be this line right here. So we're looking for something like that. Projectile type. Okay, so we have the line. Wait a minute. There needs to be fewer lines here. Let me double check. Okay, 1, No, it's the same number of lines. It's... What is missing? Wait. Wait. It has a movement. Okay, so this one has 3 sets of movements. Does this one also have the movements I need? Oh, there's the problem. We're missing the bouncing ball movement. So if I copy one of these from this frame into this frame, will it bring over all the same stats? Yes, it did. Okay. Can I replace you? Probably not. Okay. I think I found a record. Yeah, it has to do with discrepancies between the different frames. Initial direction any, speed 60, 32, okay. Yep, okay. Does that work? Aha! Look at that, chat. There it is. That's what we want to see. That's what we want to see. Nice. Nice. Alright, so if we go up. Hey. Alright, maybe a little too aggressive there. It's pushing us around, but that's improvement. That's improvement. At least it's moving around. Ow. Okay. Yeah, I'll check that retro. Also, the fact that we fell down. That's funny. No, that was easy. Okay. I could probably reintroduce the line that makes it get destroyed in this rectangle now that it's actually working correctly. Where is it? Where is it? Actually, that one might prove unnecessary. But let's try that. Okay, so this should be confined it to, yep. Okay, I've got to I gotta figure out what's causing that. I think it has to do with... We're getting yeeted around by the cobra, which is not correct. Everything else seems to be working just fine, though. Whoa. Alright. Did we get yeeted around in the test frame? I don't think we did. I'm pretty sure the test frame was pretty good about making sure that didn't happen. Alright. Cobra, where are you? Okay. Yeah, it didn't yeet us around. Oh, that probably has something to do with what we did in, like, that node finding. So it's probably having a different condition, a different distance that's allowing us to... Let's check the distances here. Okay. Get... Yes, Cobras want Sparta and Dorothy. The Cobras are like, this is Heartwell. Yeet. No. Okay. Okay. So... I remember which one we deleted it. The anti-stuck code. Where's the stop condition? Here. Okay. It's probably these values here. I should double check these. Well, no, that's the collision. I need to... There's the thing that'll just stop the movement. Okay, maybe here Cobra attacks too. Should be the same though. Well, let's check. Okay, so that appears to be the same. Yep. It's a value... It could be a value transfer problem. Because we do have to force the enemy collision bots to stop. Probably has something to do with this. This code up here, I think, probably is the key denominator here. That would be it. That would be it. That'd be it. Yeah, because we don't have this whole setup that we do here. Okay. I'm gonna try something. Investigate whether this fixes it or not. It might not, but we'll try. Actually, no, do. Yeah. Just copy these over. Alright. I'm writing a test record. Basically, what this should do is... Okay, let's test it out. Okay, that doesn't seem to yeet us around, which is good. And obviously, it's going to the 0-0. That's why they're all slowing out there, because that's how the basic movements worked. But for the real test, we'll undo that stuff. And simply activate this code to see if it yeets us around. Because I doubt the distinct feeling it will yeet us around. Yep. Yeeting us around. Okay, that's the problem. It's the way the basic movement code was set up. I honestly think this might be okay if we adjust it a wee bit. Okay. Seems to fix the problem. The other thing I'm not sure about is we'll have to see if whether or not they start slithering to the top left corner. If they do that, that'll be a different bud to fix. Where is... I can probably guess why it's happening, but I want to confirm that's a problem. Okay, I know why it's happening. So in the other code, we have like we force set the starting position of the cobras. At least now, at least they function as intended, but they're obviously slithering to the top left, which you don't want. So somewhere in here, we're actually defining starting positions, I think. Yep, node X and node Y. Okay. I know what to do. I know what to do. We're going to add a starter frame condition here. Unless there's a starter frame condition we can add this to elsewhere. But actually, no, we should add it here regardless. Alright, so what this will do... Actually, no, it should be greater than 0. Well, that makes sense. Starting at why a piece of code is behaving the way it is has got to be one of those satisfying things. Oh, I agree, Raptor. I agree. And the reason why this is happening is because in the other ones we sectioned off what the different node X and node Y values are, like by hand. But in this case, because we're only using basic movement, that wasn't there. So what this line of code is attempting to do is going to be to essentially force that starting position to be wherever we start them out by default if they have basic movement. So we'll set node X to the X coordinate and node Y to the Y coordinate. So that way, it'll be a lot easier to deal with. I think that'll work. Let's test it out. Yep. Look at that, chat. It actually solved a bunch of problems. So not only is the Cobra now, you know, they're basically saying they're stopping position to wherever they start, but it also, because they're at the node, they actually go to their stopped animation, which is great. Because before they were kind of stuck in their walking animation, which, you know, isn't bad per se, but it isn't great either. Yep. Oh, yes! Perfect! Exactly as planned. Yeah, we'll check. I do want to make sure. Okay, we have our tomahawks. We're going to run a different test, and that's what happens if these things are defeated and respond. So they go back to the original place. So, okay, so that one's dead. It's supposed to start over here. It's ending over there. If we reset the frame, what happens? Okay, now different thing to test. If we defeat this thing, we exit the frame, we reopen the frame. That's simulating like exiting the level. Okay, it still starts there. And if we respawn, I think that did it, chat. Yay! Yay! It worked! It worked! Perfect! I also like how vicious this is. Oh, this is perfect for like a last set, a potential last section here. I mean, look at this, chat. Look, the setup is beautiful, isn't it? The player has the cobras are all just a distraction for the cobrattles. It's all a ploy. I know the setup is beautiful, especially since this isn't the full setup. It's just the start of the setup. There's more to it. Perfect. All right. Barring any... Dude, that is so cool. But also, really, really like that. Now it says this section. How to watch for projectiles and melee at the same time. Yep, it's a perfect, like, test of the player's skills at this point. Because by the time the player has reached this, if the player decides to take this path up here, they would have already had to have completed both of the lower paths. So that basically means the player's already been taught about the basic mechanics and tested about these things in a controlled environment, and now this is like the final gauntlet, so to speak, of these enemies. Like, okay, you should know what to do now, so now we're going to throw it to you all at once and see how you handle it. We're going to we're going to combine all the evilest things I can do with these things. To see if you've truly mastered this as a player, or if you still have some learning to do. So we're going to try an evasive strat first. Obviously, it is possible to, you know, use weapons to grind your way through the section, but I'm going to try and do an evasive strat to see if that's possible, because you want to leave the option there too. Ow! Oh dear. Okay, we need to move that rattlesnake a little bit. I'm having way too much fun with this, which is probably a good sign. Because I keep dying, but I'm fine with that because I want it to be. This is what we're going for. Let's just make sure. Note: line above sets the and node Y coordinates to be the starting of the cobras. You need to copy this to the default code. To avoid future discrepancies. Movements, which honestly we can do right now. We can just copy this over to the test frame, so we have the default code set up for it. And I think for this we actually... Where is it? Where is it? Now, chat, if this has proven anything, one of the beautiful, fun challenges of programming is you really... even when you think you understand your system, you don't understand your system. And that's okay. That's all part of the fun. You know? As I thought it would just be a simple copy paste, but I'm noticing very quickly that with the test frame, there were very, very clearly some things that were changed to accommodate this rework that aren't in the node find code itself, and that can make copying to older frames more challenging. Now, the good news is, with newer frames, they'll be based off this, so they'll have this by default. But this is all part of reworks, I guess. Regardless, that should all be good to go. Now, chat, let's just enjoy testing our happy little section here. You know, perfectly balanced. Oh, wait, no. A moment. Need to move that over to the left. Slightly down, so there's enough space to actually... Okay, so for that one, that should work. I need to have enough space to run around it. Yeah, let's do it to our happy little path. Yes. Just a happy little path with some snacks slithering around. They're just our friends, you know? They're snack friends. See? Look at that. They're waving hello to us. Now let's see how this one is. Ow! The snacks are evil. Okay, I didn't move that one enough to the right. Okay. Not bad. Not bad. I kind of want to have the snack closer to the edge here so that we have to jump for it. Like, I want to have to jump for it to be safe. But, okay, so I need to move you a little bit more to the left. And this one a bit more to the right. It's just a happy, yep, correct. Just a happy little path of death, like Sun's Funhouse, you know? It's like, there's nothing... honestly, Rector, remember how, like, during the Dark Souls stream, when I was going through Sen's Funhouse, like, I was just unironically calling it Sen's Funhouse, and we didn't really have too many problems. It's like, lots of people have trouble with Sen's Fortress and Dark Souls, like they get yeeted off by an axe or something, but I'm just like, no, we're just going through the fortress. It's just a happy fortress. There's nothing wrong here. That's just like the ultimate troll for people who actually understand the chaos that is Sen's Fortress on your first playthrough. But looks like we got through that, not much issue. Okay, so we can stay at the edge here, which is a little bit terrifying, as it should be. Yes, this fortress is a legit fun dungeon when you know what you're doing. Exactly. Exactly. It has some good items too. Okay, so we can kind of stand here. That's a safe spot. Okay, that's not a safe spot. Oh dear. Nope. Okay. I think if we're going to leave a safe spot anywhere, I want it to be kind of towards the middle. Like maybe around here. So you know what? Let's move this cobra. Sorry, not cobra. This rattlesnake maybe like there. Like have the player have to like maneuver around this, but at least show them that there is a happy little safe spot. Also move this one a bit higher so the player has to walk around it. But then everything is just perfectly balanced. Actually, can I put the? I think I did right there. Can I walk behind that one? I have no idea. Up left corner. That's that. I hope that doesn't cause. That might cause collision problems. I'll have to check that. I thought it introduces hazards that are not just enemy related, like environmental obstacles and traps. True, that's part of the fun of Sun's Fortress, or Sun's Funhouse, as some of us call it. One thing I am noticing though, chat. Chat, do you think I should move the Cobra like maybe a few blocks to the left so that the player actually has to bait out the Cobra before they can make the jump? I think that's kind of part of the fun here. Is like if you just go here, you can kind of bypass that. You think that'd be cool? Okay, we can do that. Let's just yeah, because we're supposed to be testing the player, so let's make it a proper test. Have the Cobras be smart here. They're thinking together. Like, yes, if I block here, the cobrattle can get them. You know? Okay. So jump that. Oh, that's satisfying. Unfortunately, I ran out of stamina. So for people who don't upgrade their stamina, that's managing stamina in that section. If the plan is just to run past it, will be interesting. Obviously, you know, we could just hop up, attack the Cobra, jump down, rinse and repeat. Like, that's perfectly viable too. Depends how much of a hassle be the speedrunners. I think speedrunners would be able to do this. I really do. Okay. It's just a question of proper stamina management. Okay. I really gotta sit. Okay. Okay. I wanted to see if we got stuck there, so. Yes we do. Yes we do. Ow. Okay, we can't put that there. We can't put that there. You can probably put that there, though. And maybe just this one a smidge more to the left, just to, again, give the player a sense of maybe I can't stand there, but actually realize, oh wait, no, I can stand there if I'm careful. I have faith in speedrunners. Ow. Speedrunners are very good at learning things to such a hyper-precise level that I don't think something like that would be too much of a problem. They would just probably have to figure out a strat to bait it out and still have enough stamina left over. Here. That's my fault, but that's okay. That's part of the silliness. Okay. Good. Alright, there we go. That works. I also think it's good to leave a little room here to breathe, just to give the player an opportunity to fight back if they so choose. Now, I am curious, chat. What'll happen if I jump on the rattlesnake that's on this edge? Okay, he needs me back. Perfect. Perfect. Exactly what we want. Lead us back in the direction we don't want to go. Okay. Bad. Hey, Dr. Nicholson, welcome back. Right now we're doing some tests. Okay, but seriously. Okay, it seems to be forcing us to the left, which is fine. Oh dear. Pfft. Yes! Also perfect. And it's also has to finish this next. Yes, we did. Also, alright, it's official. Anytime the snacks are on, like, well, besides the corral, I think the corral's fine there. But anytime the rattlesnakes are on those platforms, I need to put them close to the bottom edge to force the player to fall down to fall down the happy little well if they mess up and land on the rattlesnake. I'm starting to know, not sure if you guys are terrified that I was starting to know about power. I am not going mad with power. This is perfectly valid. The player would have had plenty of opportunities to learn this stuff by this point. This is a proper test of the player's skills. Ow, ow, ow. I'm amazed I got hit there. I'm guessing I was just barely on the edge of the frame there. Okay. So what I want to test, chat, if I land on that rattlesnake by accident, will it like force me down the well here? Nope. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not going bad with powers. Exactly what person that's going out of there would say. True, but no, this isn't Matt. Okay, let me give you a logical reason why this isn't going Matt with power. So, chat, you might be saying, Antomicx, isn't this such an evil? No, because we have all of this down here that the player has to go through before they reach that point. So if the player wants to go that route, they would have had to have gotten past all of these trials and tribulations down here, which means they should have already learned all the skills they'd need for this last section. Yeah, Director says this entire sequence looks perfectly fair. It's not truly right thing. Exactly. That's what I'm going for. Like, it's brutally unforgiving if you don't take it seriously, which is what I'm going for. But it's not to the point where it's like, okay, haha, you walk here, you die instantly, GG player, or it's not like, haha, I'm going to stop you in some annoying BS. No, it's meant to be fair but difficult, because again, it's a Souls-like. And it's obvious it's Souls-like, it needs to be fair but difficult. Because again, there are spots to rest. What this does, chat, is if you're super reckless here and you don't know what you're doing, you will get punished very heavily. Retnor is not being sarcastic, Copper Nicholson. Retnor understands Souls-like. Retnor's played quite a few of the Souls games at this point, so he understands what I'm going for here. I want this to be hard. I don't want it to be, like, impossible. Like, this is quite doable. You just need some practice and understanding of the level design. Okay. Do I dare move the rattlesnake closer to the right? Because right now, the player could be standing right here and be perfectly fine. Which I guess isn't too bad. But if I move it more towards the center of the platform, that won't be a problem. Also, I find that funny, chat. The projectiles are moving so fast they can actually stand through that, which is fine. You know, Dark Souls has situations like this. They're where you have silly little quirks of the enemies like that. I have no problem with that. Exactly, Raptor. By this point, the player should have a very comprehensive understanding of each of these enemy types and how they behave relative to each other. So none of this is new to the player. it's more so that I'm introducing this in a way that's meant to be quite challenging because I'm doing all the hardest stuff I came up with for these enemy combinations in sequence, and the player, again, there's no checkpoint here. So if you want the only checkpoint, I'm set using in air quotes, is the stairwell right over here, which you have to open a shortcut for. So if you get through the section once, you'll have a shortcut to just bypass this to go to the exit up here at the top of the well. Yeah, exactly. Like, now this is by surprise. Like, the player, when they're staying here, will be able to see everything in advance and try to plan accordingly. Because, I mean, the player needs to, you know, have enough situational awareness to be aware that I want another snack here. This is too easy. This spot is too easy. We need another snack here. We need another snack. Okay. That's also not okay. Or don't move that a few inches to the left just so that it can hit us. I think leaving that there is probably okay. Yeah, ass neck to there. Need more snacks here. Yeah, I think we definitely need a couple more snacks in this section. It's a little too sparse for my liking. Ow. Alright. Good. Okay. Wait, are we up? Okay. Good. And now, chat, probably for I consider this section extremely vicious just from the outside. And look at this. Like, look at, there's no safe spot. There's 2 cobrattles on either side, which means you have to account for projectiles coming from 2 different directions. I'm very curious to see how this is going to play. So, can I get past this without taking damage? That's the real question. Like, this is like, again, it's the last gasp of this next here before the exit. It's like, has the player there? Let's find out. We've learned nothing! We've learned absolutely nothing! We have learned nothing! Alright. Yeah, that's true. We can use the good old hip hop over the ledge. I want to make sure it's still possible to do it without that tactic, because I want people who are like, more so like the platforming types. So let's just drop down here real quick and hop back up to try again. Okay. Let's try this again. Ow. Ow. Oh, I like that, but I want to make sure we can do it, so... Yep, rip Dorothy. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll bait an attack, hop over, hop down, okay, we survived. We survived, but we still got hit. So, I really think that's doable without getting hit. I really do. Like, maybe if we're sprinting... Oh, actually, that might be it. If we sprint and jump across at the right moment, and, like, move diagonally to the cobrattles attached, that should be fine. Nope. No! I got too aggressive, no! Let's try that again. I did alright, Tell. People who are trying to go on this path are going to die a lot, which is exactly what I was doing. This is like, you know, you really can't be impatient with this. If you're too impatient with it, it's so punishing. Okay. You can do it. No! Help me many times will Antomicx fall down the well before he finally gets this? Place your justice, chat. Okay. Perfect! See, chat, look at that! It's perfectly doable without fighting it. See? You can do that section without taking damage. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. Antomicx, it took you multiple deaths to accomplish. Is that? Yes, Sir David, that's the point. That's try again. And that's the thing. Once you get past that section, you're at the end. You know, you're here. There's one of the possible exits to the tutorial dungeon. You know, one of the three. And also, there would be like a door over here with a lever that you could open to allow you to just walk back up here anytime you wanted from way down here. As again, it all loops back. See, see, chat, like this is the only. I'm telling you right now, this right here is the only altar of record in the entire tutorial dungeon. Like, this right here is going to be the only altar of record. Because we're going to constantly circle back to it. Even hid with this one. Evil. No, is it evil, chat? Gregor, is it evil? I think it's more a testament to the Metroidvania level design more than anything else. Because again, because of the way the paths connect back to each other, this is well situated to be the checkpoint for literally everything. Evil. Okay. Well, chat, we've done this, so we tested this out, like, bit by bit. Now we have to do it all in one go, alright? And the thing we have to keep in mind is this is only the tail end of the gauntlet. So if we go back to the lower level, you'll notice we have this whole section down here. So the thing about this section down here, chat, is before we can even attempt to do that top section, we have to go through this bottom section. Yeah, so this is a true last gauntlet, if you will, like having to go through all of this. So this little section here. I feel like there should be some enemies here. Did I forget to... I probably forgot to add some enemies here. There will be enemies there, don't you worry, chat. But they have to go through this section first, and then this top section. Now, you might say, Antomicx, isn't that a very long distance to go before they can get a checkpoint? I think not, and the reason I say this is one of the three exits. So I think by virtue, and the fact that the matter is, this exit is the only one that can be reached without leveling up and without fighting any bosses. So, in my view, if the player really is like steadfast about exiting this tutorial dungeon without fighting any bosses and without leveling up, this is the only path to do that. So I think it's perfectly valid to have like a really long section of enemies here, because that makes it like a true final challenge to see like, okay, are you actually good enough to survive out there with those stipulations? If you are, great, go for it, you know? Awesome, I'm glad you agree, Red Bar. And that's the thing, like for everyone else, you know, for all of us who want to do, you know, our happy little challenge, our happy little playthroughs of Heartwell, you know, that's only one of three possible ways to leave the tutorial dungeon, so you have other options. I mean, my personal favorite might be the fact that you can literally exit the tutorial dungeon without ever actually seeing like the lower levels. All you'd have to do is just grind over and over and over again to be able to deal enough damage to break this barrier, and then you can literally just walk out through one of the three exits. So, again, it's like giving the player different agency in terms of how they approach the tutorial and exit the tutorial dungeon. That's significant too, because it leads to completely different areas in the game. It's kind of like Dark Souls 2 in a style in a way. Explain, Raptor. Explain. Okay. We're staring at broken. Ow. Okay. Our goal is just to survive, chat. It's not to do this gracefully. This isn't a no-hit run. This is just can we make it through this without sadness? Now, you can choose between being the bosses or slow life like crazy, or just getting very good at evading things as well. But yeah, that's all part of the fun, Raptor. We're out of stamina. No! No! Okay. Alright, this is the last section. Let's heal. Actually, wait, I just realized I forgot to add more cobras to this section, so... Sorry, not cobras, rattlesnakes. We need more shenanigans here. More shenanigans. Let's see, 1, 2... I think 3 should do. Like, you can choose between, yeah. But that's fair. I know Dark Souls 2 might be my least favorite of the Dark Souls games, but I will admit, I loved that especially in the beginning, they gave you so many options in terms of how to actually progress to the next point of the main story. Like, I applaud the developers for allowing the player to essentially grind for souls to bypass significant portions of the game. Like, to me, that's just so cool, you know? Like, the fact that you can skip the old Iron Keep, the Mines Canyon, and like the Hyde's Tower of Flame and the Gutter, and like, you know, the old Bastille. The fact that all that stuff is technically optional to me is amazing. You intend to play Heartwell on stream before you know Dark Souls 3. Fair enough, Drakor, fair enough. Let's add some snacks here. Maybe kind of towards the middle. Update, fair enough, Ripper. I mean, I'm still working hard on the demo record. Not sure when it's going to be ready, but as you can see, I am very excited to get this out to you guys. Because yeah, this is all super fun to me, and I'm hoping you guys will enjoy it too. It'll be an experience. Can the player make that? No, I can't. Do something like that. That should work. I don't think the player could fit through that gap though. Right there. Maybe just one more. I mean, I sincerely doubt a player's going to go out of their way to... Well, they might. Can we stand there? We might be able to. So, Drakor, I'm not sure when Heartwell, the Heartwell demo will be ready, so don't delay playing Dark Souls 3 for that, but, you know, for the other, you know, you're welcome to do what you want. No! Ow! No problem, I'll be patient, fair enough. But you can see it's coming along quite nicely here, because the fact that we're even being able to place enemies at this point is a testament to how much progress we're making. Jump that, down. Oh no, we're out of stamina, out of stamina, out of stamina. Okay. Alright, that works. That works. Okay, I don't... Can we fit in between there? No, we cannot. Or if we can, it's a very, very pistol-perfect sort of situation. Yeah. True, Rattlesnake. There's still a bit of a way to go before the demo, but I don't want to rush it, obviously. Because, I mean, you can see the potential here. There's a lot of potential. Ow, ow. Dorothy! Dorothy, I'm sorry! I'm sorry, Dorothy. I'm sorry. We're doing so well. Well, damn it. Ow. Oh wow, I really threaded the needle there. Okay. You see the potential of the level design so far is solid. I'm glad. I'm glad you think that, Doctor. I do take pride in the level design. Oh dear. I thought I found cheese, and then I realized, oh wait, no I did. The cobrattles just barely hit. Oh, that's... John looked at that. That's amazing. I love that. A clever player might be thinking like, aha, I can stand right here and be perfect to fight. The cobrattles is just like, nope. It's like, I see you. I see you there. That was completely unintentional, but I think that's so perfect. I want that to be in the game. I want to leave that there. That's perfect. If someone thinks they need to just wait there and start to line things up, they'll have the in for a surprise. There are no mistakes, only happy accidents. Yes, exactly, Breckmore, you understand. In game design, there are no mistakes, only happy accidents. Alright, that was again. Like that, we're out of stamina. That's my own fault. The other thing I'm thinking about here, chat, is the player, if they really want to, could invest a lot into stamina. Or into their endurance stats, they want a lot more stamina. And if they did, that would make this a lot more forgiving if they're trying to just run through it. Because they have a lot more stamina to work with. Oh no. Okay, that worked out. Surprisingly well. Might be a good idea to flip the positioning of these two rattlesnakes so that the player can't just hold like up and right and just happily walk through this. Have to be, but I want the player to put in at least a little effort. Oh, damn it! No. No. Okay. It all comes down to this, chat. We have 250 health. That means we can get 2 hits. We can take 1 hit without dying. We just need to make it to that through this section. I believe. I don't believe. No! 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 We have to do it again. Oh, I can already tell that last section's going to end so many. Players are going to die in that last section a lot. It'll be glorious. I think I am now beginning to understand how Carl Sagan 42 feels when he's designing his troll levels. Though, to be fair, this is not meant to be trolly, this is meant to just be difficult. Difficult but reasonable. Ow. Wow, we literally just one-shot that. Okay. Yeah, Carl's levels are meant to be evil on purpose, whereas this is not evil. Like, if I wanted to make this evil, I would just, like, do enemy spam everywhere, make it impossible to stand anywhere and fight back. But here, no, it's a bit of a balance. Nope. See, right like that. Like, you must not be a... That was entirely my fault. I knew that I should have just walked through that path, but... Either way. Move that over here. Move this one down there. I think the player can make that gap, but I'll need to test that. Yes, horrible anti-soft locks, absurd trolls. Yep, that's all Carl. That's Carl indeed. And we all appreciate Carl for it. It's his wheelhouse. Okay, we can't fit through that gap. I need to adjust that. Ow! I think that should be wide enough. Oh, I agree. Carl is such a nice guy outside of the outside of his troll levels, but when he designs his troll levels, Carl is such a nice guy. He left all the allowed party maker so he can be a sweetheart outside it. You might be onto something there, Raptor. Uh-oh. No. Okay. Nope. Okay, it's still not wide enough. Come on! Ow. Trust issues has been rated out as many times as 1-to-1 at this point. What do you mean by that, Raptor? I think that should be wide enough to let the player run through. Or I'll have to test that. Investigate. Raw stamina. No. Oh, trust issues was Carl's first hot garbage level from Mario Maker 1. I see what you're saying. I missed. Okay, that's barely wide enough. Good. So we can actually walk through it now. Nope. What? Whoa! What? Hold on a minute. What? I need a. Something's not right here. Something is not right. Go back. Seems to only be up there, though. I wonder what it should be. I saw that glitch. We needed to investigate. That. What happened? Something weird is going on, chat. Something very weird is going on. don't know what it is. What? I should be able to walk. Have I always just jumped that gap and never realized it? That could very well be the case. They have ample space for the player to run. It very well could be, chat, that I just always had enough space to... I always just jumped over that, and that maybe that's why I never noticed. Let's get some stamina back. Stay in attack, dodge that. Jump it. Ow. Ow. Okay. That works better. Oh dear. Wait a minute. Okay, good. Well, okay. It actually can't hit us now from the angle anymore. But not like that. Whoops. I do find it. I find it kind of amusing, chat, that now it can actually hit us on the safety platform. So it's that could be like a massive troll for the player. Well, not a troll, but more so like they should really be paying attention to that. They have the tiniest little line of sight to that. Now, to be fair, I think that's probably okay because, again, the player has like 2 safety spots, one after the other. They have one right here, and for that, all I have to do is just step down a little bit, and it's not a problem. If anything, that probably just increases the tension more when the player's trying to make the jump, because they'll want to make the jump from up there. So, if I'm staying here, and it's not like 100% of the time either, like it really seems to be this really does seem to be positioning dependent. Fascinating. Alright. It's probably okay. Nope. No. I need to prove that I can do this at least once. Is that too much to ask? Chat, the fact that this is taking me multiple attempts is probably a good sign. In my opinion, at least. Because you don't want this last section to be too easy.
Remember all the happy times we had.
Alright. That. Jump that. Oh, that's funny. Okay. I'm okay with this. Dorothy's like, everything is fine. There's nothing wrong with this situation whatsoever. It's not like a rattlesnake's trying to get us into oblivion. Okay. Nope. Wait, what? noticing a problem here, chaps. I'm not sure if you can see it either. There's a very easy way to fix that. All I have to do is slightly increase the melee swipe distance. That's not a weird glitch. It's doing what it's supposed to. It's just the melee swipe isn't quite large enough to actually damage Dorothy. There's a very easy way to fix that. It's just widen the melee swipe slightly for the cobras. What's just over here? Okay, they can hit that. No, this. Oh, they definitely hit that. All right. Not so much geometry collision issues as it is just the problem is I can't make the cobrattles attack sphere any smaller than that, or else it'll just lead to some weird collisions. So all I have to do, chat, is just if I make this if I make the top melee swipe just slightly wider, then it'll be able to hit. So all we have to do is that, and that should be hopefully wide enough to hit Dorothy. And look at this, chat. I mean, I know we're still on the top level, but we're learning a bunch of things. So this is still valuable stuff. See? Perfect. Look at that, chat. It hit us. No! No! The slopes! The slopes! They got us! Which is really my fault because the person who has complete control over where they land on the slopes is the player, so... Yes, perfect. Now we can get destroyed. Exactly. I also say being able to... I'm starting to feel like dizzy, Coppernickel. So maybe you should lay down, drink some water, relax a bit. Nope. Out. Okay. All right, chat. Once again, we're at the end. I just need to go through this section, and then then we'll have proven that it's doable without actually fighting these things. 3, 2, 1. Nope. No! 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 Oh. Oh wow, that was awesome. I didn't even realize that's perfectly lined up. The walking velocity is such that if you're just blindly holding left and forget to jump here, you just end up near the bottom. Perfect. That's going to happen to someone. You know that is going to happen to someone. Well, not a few hundred meters. It's like, how high is that actually? 1, 2, 3. Chat, if we consider each level to be about maybe 4 or 5 feet. 1, 2, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Actually, each one of these is 2. So 1, 3, 5, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. 16, 18, 20. It's at least over 100 feet, so Raptor, you might be onto something there. Not sure if it's necessarily 100 meters, but it's definitely actually quite tall. It was a ledge in the well, Copper Nicholson. There's one of these platforms in the well here. That, okay, walk, just keep walking, everything will be fine, everything is fine, nothing bad ever happens, ever, okay. So what happened, Hopper, is I accidentally walked off that ledge and I didn't, and it all happened so fast I ended up at near the bottom of the well. Which for a player who got to this point would be devastating. Okay, we did it! Let's go! Let's go! We did it! Yes! 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 We did it! Victory dance! Yay! Yay! Okay. Topper, if you're wondering what happened, I'll show you. So, I was walking down here, this is what happened. See? It's really easy. That's... Hey, Diamond, thanks for dropping by. How's it going? You're saying it just got inside noise, so the inside noise is not Diamond. If you also need to check whether the patient approach takes too long, I could, but it's a question of what we define as patient record, because that's ultimately up to the player. Like, the player might decide, okay, once I get rid of the cobrattle, I don't care about that cobra, I'll just run past it. But if the player's leveled up at least a decent amount, then most of these enemies should be quite doable. So tomahawk that, tomahawk that. I mean, cobrattles have a decent amount of health, but... Well, actually, no, I take it back. If the player had gotten to this point without tomahawks, because they were not interested in facing the bosses, they might have leveled up their rocks a bit, but we can test it out with rocks. Definitely liking the reach and the melee weapons. I'm glad, Redboard, I'm glad. I think the reach is one of the things that helps differentiate some of the melee weapons, besides the other, like, unique aspects of them. But, like, the fact that, you know, fists, you have to be, like, right up next to the enemy to hit them, whereas with, like, at the ats, you have a bit more leeway, but it's a bit slower. And don't you worry, there'll be tons of melee weapons, don't you worry. It says there'll be tons of ranged weapons. In the full game, anyway. Alright. Let's do this the careful approach. So what we'll do is we'll bait an attack for the cobrattle. Oh, wait, we need stamina for this. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll jump up around here, punch that, hop down, not too bad. Probably hop up, or not. Not sure what happened there. Something weird happens. Can I replicate that? Huh. Alright, we were invisible for a second. You're about to say ranged, but okay, fair enough. Yeah, the ranged weapons are fun too. So I think what happens, we probably got used. There we go. See, chat? Not too bad to do a melee part there. Then we can hop up and do... Well, actually, we don't even need to hop up, because remember, we have the ability to strafe this. So we do something like that, you know, up and down, up and down. We won't even need to hop down necessarily. Oh dear. So, quite possible to do this. What just happened? Oh, is this like a range attack problem? Huh. So, chat, the whole invisibility thing has something to do with the... I wonder if getting, like, sucked in somehow. And maybe sucked to the slope, and that's why we're turning invisible. Alright, it's not too bad. And then with this cobra, we could try to defeat it, but it's probably in the player's best interest to walk past it. See, not too bad. Bop, bop. Well, to be fair, we have melee weapons upgraded a bit, but the player can upgrade as they see fit. Alright, now this one, trying to do this slowly would probably be a bit more... It all comes down to that cobrattle. Because the cobrattles is shielded by the rattlesnakes here. Okay, what I think I'll do is I'll beat that. Okay. Oh, I see what's happening. So it's like, there's probably like the briefest window where if you actually attack while landing. Okay. I'll have to look into that. Create anti-invisibility glitch bug fix. Seems to occur when using a melee or ranged attack. Just as the player is landing from a jump, while also being over a slope. What's those pink flashy things? So, Copper Nicholson, those are just the those are the collision boxes for the cobras. Those will be invisible in the main game. I just have them visible right now for testing purposes. Okay. Well, at least that's a all right, on a over a slope or a platform. That is exactly C equal 1 higher. So as you can see, chat, we were able to, you know, with some clever positioning and our use of our weapons, even without tomahawks, we were able to defeat the cabral there, which allows us to very leisurely defeat the rattlesnakes. You know, just one by one with some melee attacks. Nothing too complicated. So this is quite doable without running past it. It just takes a lot longer. Like in a soul stage, you know? When you say Heartwell's explore, I mean, there is exploration certainly involved with it, Copper Nicholson, just like in any other Metroidvania. So, I mean, the fact that there's 3 ways to leave the tutorial dungeon, and there's also, you know, side paths to get, like, additional items. Does that mean that Dorothy is exploring? No! 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 I see what you did there. I see what you did there. I'd say the player is an explorer. That depends on how they want to use Dorothy in this context. Yeah. The player probably wouldn't be too keen on facing that rattlesnake on the same ground like that, so they probably use a ranged weapon. Make sure Dorothy's hard out. You made a meme, Copper Nicholson. You have made the meme. Synergy. Now for this section out here, the player would have to run a little bit to actually be safe from these things. There's not really a safe spot here. But after that, if the player wants to, they could defeat all these, you know. Bop, bop. Nothing too complicated. Now you might be saying, Antomicx, how is Dorothy back at full health? You haven't used the healing charge recently. Well, that's because with the optimal damage build that I was using for my boss battle stuff, I found that this special right here seemed to give the highest bang for your buck, so to speak, in terms of damage for the lowest point investment. So this adds 10 base damage of light to the fist melee weapon, and what makes this so good is that light, the light has the added effect that damage dealt by light is recovered as health. So literally, as we're going through this long string of enemies, Dorothy's actually recovering, in this case, 16 health with each hit. And that's what's giving us a lot of survivability here. Lifesteal is always fun. Indeed, 9 unlocked, indeed. But the thing is, this is not by default. The player would have had to invest 5 levels to even unlock this. So the player would definitely have to delay their reputation to get it. But that's why I want the special to feel like. It's delayed reputation, but it needs to be worth it, you know? I think having lifesteal as a potential unlockable, like, early on, like, the default melee weapon is a nice little way to differentiate it, because most of the weapons that can deal light damage without the archstone that lets you switch to that damage, you can't get until much later. So this is like one possible way to have lifesteal early. Correct, 9 So the way it's worded here is that it's base damage, which means anything you do that would normally increase damage would also stack onto the light. So it, as you see in the description, this base damage for light stacks with other fist skills that increase damage. So in this case, fists have a strength bonus of 100%. Because light's part of the base damage, it's also getting that strength bonus because we've invested 6 points into strength. That's why I'm saying this is the optimal way to increase damage at a low level for fists anyway, because while there are other stuff that increases fist damage under specific circumstances, this is the one that's working for you most of the time and scales best with strength. Yep, indeed, Nylock, indeed. Now, to be fair, not every weapon has like a special that adds base damage, but fists, I decided to do this to fists because I think it would make it, you know, an interesting kind of give and take here. Just, you know, clearly the axe is a lot more forgiving here. Look, I mean, just look at that base damage. We haven't even invested anything here. And it's already super solid, pretty easy to use. It's slower, whereas fists, you know, you have to get right up next to them. Like, that's a significant difference here. But I want players to figure out, like, how to combine, like, the different specials and the different weapons in unique ways to really maximize their damage. That's part of the fun. Just like in Elden Ring. Now for here, it's the same kind of thing. We bait attack, we hop down, bop, easy peasy, bait attack, bop, dunzo. No, Copper Nicholson. It's up to the player to learn things at their own pace in ways that make sense to them. But the players will learn how to optimize this, I'm sure, as they go. Just like in Souls games. Like, all the stuff I'm saying, Copper Nicholson would be learned, could potentially be learned organically by a player, or not at all. Maybe a player's like, you know what, no, I'll just brute force it all and invest everything in strength and damage increases. Well, no, you do have to learn mechanics, Nimlock. It's just a question of how you learn the mechanics, so to speak. So, like, this high level thinking of, okay, how to maximize damage and things like that, you don't necessarily have to know that to beat this. Like, this game is quite, because it's a Souls game, it's mostly skill based. So that means if I was at weapon level 1, you know, player level 1, I'd still be able to beat this. It would just take a lot longer. Alright, Copper Nicholson, whatever floats your boat. Alright, now this will be tricky because the corrals do not give us much room to work with here. Like, in my opinion, this is the one section where trying to fight back probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense unless you have a weapon that can one-shot these things. So, honestly, I think the play there is you need to have a weapon that's strong enough to at least two-tap that one cobrattle quickly. And then slowly work your way through these rattlesnakes, I think. Something like that. How many gamers can you think of that have done a clueless run before? Oh, plenty, Copper Nicholson. They probably don't even realize it. Oh, I missed the throw. There we go. Okay. Nope. I saw that hit. I saw that hit. Oh, this is brutal. The fists have no range. No! 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 Okay. So, Graktor, as you saw there, it is doable. It just takes a while to go for that purely battle style. But it is possible. So you saw that, Graktor. It is possible. Like, if I hadn't messed up that last part there, that would have been totally doable. It just would have taken a while. That's all. It's all a question of positioning and making use of your investments in important ways. So you're saying, is the axe the best weapon? No, not necessarily. The axe is certainly a lot stronger than fists on a hit-by-hit basis, but you also notice it is a lot slower. It takes a lot more of your stamina away. So there are certainly risks associated with it. Same thing goes with, like, rocks versus tomahawks. As I'll show you right here, chat. A rock, you throw that pretty quick, you know? With a tomahawk, though, you can count like 1, 2. It takes a bit longer to throw a tomahawk than it does to throw a rock. But at the same time, the tomahawk does significantly more damage, so, you know, there are benefits to it. But tomahawks also cost more ammo. Anyway, pros and cons is all part of the balancing of it all. Yeah, so final test to improve this as possible will... Oh, wow. That worked out quite well, chat. Exactly, Raptor. If you miss that attack, you're left open for a long time. Okay. Alright, attack baited. Okay. Wait for it. Come on. I'm too impatient. I need to really get in there. Okay. Well, Graktor, there's no statter in this game, so no, there is no weapon in this game, Graktor, that will cause an enemy to statter. So that's also a calculation you have to take into account when you decide to go for an attack. But if you're talking about Dark Souls, then yeah, you're right. The heavier weapons would be more likely to cause statter. Now this could be tricky. Actually, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh no, it's in the way. Alright, then this will be a situation where we have to get rid of that rattlesnake. So what we do is just we kind of walk back and forth. We do some aiming. Then we can just go for the cobrattle when we have some ammo. You're talking about DS1 self-platter, fair enough, Report. Is there going to be a kind of active blocking in this game, or is it all either dodging or tanking? Great question, Natlock. So at the moment, I do not have any intent to give any way for Dorothy to block attacks, since I don't think that in Souls games I've never really found that particularly satisfying. Same thing goes with parrying. There's no parrying in this game. I mean, parrying is the opposite. I think parrying in Souls games is super satisfying, but it's not. It's also very hard to pull off. I rarely do it. But in the context of this game, and I'm locked, Dorothy probably would not know how to parry anyway because of who she is as a character. So, doesn't make a whole lot of sense for that to be in the game, in my opinion. Because you have to understand, Dorothy is not, when she starts out, she's not a fighter. Like, she literally starts with nothing but her fists and rots. And she's a guidance counselor. She's not, she's not used to combat. So that's why she wouldn't necessarily have parrying. Blocking, I don't really think blocking makes a whole lot of sense either. Again, similar reason. Not to mention this is more about dodging and evading than anything else. Because I feel like that would make sense given Dorothy's character, but blocking, probably not. That makes sense so far, Namlock? You also have to understand parrying and blocking is a bit harder to program as well. And the thing is, if I had to include that stuff, that would mean entirely new animations to add and a lot more programming. And I don't think it makes sense for what I'm trying to go for here, personally. I want this to be more like, you dodge and evade, and you try to find your opening, so to speak. Kind of like crosscode, that's it. With crosscode, blocking's almost useless except for parrying. I can think of very few situations in crosscode where I would actually want to block for the sake of blocking. Now that being said, I do have an idea, Nimlock, for a special where so you know how there are different specials for melee and range weapons. I have an idea for a special where the player actually has increased damage resistance during a particular attack animation. I'm not sure if I'll be able to implement the idea or not for the full game. But it's an idea that's flowing in my head. Is how cool would it be if you had a weapon that has a really long wind-up time, but as a result, there's a special that actually significantly increases damage resistances while you're doing that animation for some reason. As a result, I'd ask, is there going to be, instead of one, are you going to add it for some reason? I could see some kind of weapon special that's like blocking me, something like reduced damage while weapons attack. Oh, hey, we said it's, yep. So again, reduced damage is not the same thing as blocking entirely. And to an extent beyond that, I even have ideas for specials where it's hey, for this particular weapon with a melee swipe, for example, if it hits a projectile that's planar, so in the same plane as you as opposed to coming down from above, it actually deflects it back. I think that would be a cool thing to try and add. But again, that's something I'll have to test for the main game and see whether or not it's possible to do that. But I think that'd be pretty cool, a pretty cool special idea for some melee weapons. Would be to basically do the whole Jedi thing where you actually return to sender, so to speak. And others might be just, you can't return to sender, but it just evaporates the projectile or something, or just slices through it, or it'd be super, super epic. That'd be cool. Bouncing projectiles is fun, I agree. But as we've done through that little rant chat, as you can see, we have completely cleared this section with, required a bit more thought, but it was doable. What's Deadman's volley, Nimlock? No comment, Copper Nicholson. I am not answering that question. I will neither confirm nor deny nothing. I am not confirming or denying anything, hey Copper Nicholson. To be fair, I have a lot I need to figure out with how the mechanics work with the Fiddy and the other NPCs in this game. So that'll be something to figure out for mostly after the demo. The last name in one of the Zelda games for the thing where Link and the boss bounce an energy projectile back and forth between each other until it fails to bounce. Interesting. Okay. Not sure. I mean, the whole idea of reflecting back to center like a Jedi makes sense to me. Whether or not something would be able to reflect it back at the player, again, not sure yet. That could be a fun little thing. Okay, so interesting thing to mention about ammo regeneration, Nimlock. There's no stat that directly boosts ammo regeneration that you can invest in from leveling up. So the way you induce, there's two ways to increase ammo regeneration. The first is by collecting like these items throughout the game that allow you to boost the regeneration rate. So they're called ancient cartridges. So finding those will increase the ammo regeneration rate just permanently flat basis. Additionally, there are some specials that some weapons have that also increase the ammo regeneration rates. For example, on fists, we have this lovely special called Gifted Hands that actually doubles the ammo regeneration rate. So, if you really, really want to increase ammo regen quickly without finding too many cartridges, use your fists and get this special. So basically, imagine what it's doing right now. This would be doubled if I had that special active, which would make it a lot more. It'd still be slow, but it would definitely be a lot faster than that is. But at the same time, with this special, again, it only applies when fist is equipped. So if I were to switch to the axe, I wouldn't have that bonus regen rate anymore. That's a neat special. Sorry, you missed that. What the stats was a force mirror. Okay, so now there's no like stat here you can invest in to increase ammo recovery that's actually tied to items you pick up throughout the game. So one of the items you can pick up, again, this is me getting rid of non-replenishable consumable items. There are items spread throughout the game called ancient cartridges, where if you collect them, each one I think increases the ammo regeneration rate by 10 points. So right now it's 100%. If I were to add to that, it would be 110%, 127%, and so on and so forth. And there's a lot of those throughout the game. Conversely, Nimlock, while there's no stat to directly increase ammo regen rates without like collecting items, with all weapon, or I'd say with the overwhelming majority of ranged weapons, you are actually able to reduce how much ammo it costs to use it. So if you were to invest very heavily in ammo reduction for your melee, for your ranged weapons, for example, then what would happen is, because it's costing less ammo, it means that even though your ammo regeneration rate is slower, the fact that it costs less ammo means you can use it more frequently anyway. So there is kind of a thought process there as well. Anyway, the good news, chat, is that all the enemies for this section have been discounts are fun, indeed. And similarly, before we continue, it's the same thing with ranged weapons, so you can actually reduce how much stamina it costs to do an attack. So this is one thing I've never seen like the Souls games do before, and I don't understand why. Like, how cool would it be to have like some kind of level up in a Souls game to actually reduce how much stamina it costs to use an attack? Like, to me, that feels like a no-brainer. Like, if like the obvious con is that you're giving up some extra damage, but having the ability to use your melee attacks more frequently and still have additional stamina to spare for evasion, I think that'd be pretty cool. So, great question, Cobrattles. I have changed that a bit. Originally, I was thinking of going like an Undertale route where you'd have like a super, super dark like path. Now I'm not so sure, because again, it really ties back to Dorothy's story, which you'll find out more throughout the demo. It needs to make sense in the context of Dorothy's story. So what I'm saying, Copper Nicholson, is if there is a dark path, I'm not sure how divergent that would be from the main path. I have to figure that out. Because again, this isn't... It all ties back to how the story is structured. Or cobrattles. And generally speaking, the game is meant to have a very positive and hopeful. Well, it's meant to have a very hopeful tone by a very hopeful message by the end of it, assuming the player decides as such. Speaking of the fist weapons passive effect, a pair of melee and ranged weapons that are pretty useless for fighting, but as good traits to buff other weapons could be interesting. Exactly. That's, in fact, I already have ideas for exactly that. For it, like, I literally have ideas for like a melee weapon and a ranged weapon that themselves are terrible weapons, but they're not meant to be used as weapons. They're meant to be as like used as sort of support things for your other weapon. So those will be fun. But you're right. You're kind of already seen hints of that with like stuff like this, with Fist having like a special that, you know, could be helpful for your ranged weapon. Like having things that aren't just about dealing damage. Like this is more of a utility thing, but it's a useful utility. Anyway, the good news in chat is that we have successfully set up the enemies for this section. So I think I'll take a little break, and then when we come back, I'll start placing enemies in the lower dungeon, because that'll have a lot more enemies. So I'll be right back, chat. Alright, chat, welcome back everybody. No problem, Report. Have a good night. To the lower well. Away. Alright. We're gonna have a lot of... We're definitely gonna have our work cut out for us placing enemies down here, chat. Should be fun, though. Make sure we're all set up. I think philosophy is fascinating in general, Copper Nicholson. Maybe for you, you find that TV show more engaging, is presenting to you in a format that you enjoy more. You know, it's perfectly fine for you. I'm just saying that, me personally, I enjoy philosophy, even without needing a TV, independent of any specific TV show. Alright, so we need... these. Guess we'll start from the left and work our way to the right. Actually, maybe start from like the opening down here and work our way to through. That because that this evil section right here will take some setting up. Let's start with our rattlesnakes. And our cobrattles. Because the cobras, again, we'll have to copy over code again, so that'll take a little bit. Probably leave that for next step, Strem. That's a lot of snacks and run rum. It is indeed, and it is meant to be a lot of snacks and run rum. Just like the other, there's a room up top on the higher level, also had a lot of snacks and one room. But the big difference here, as you can see, is the cobrattle. So, fun facts about projectiles: enemy projectiles are not stopped by other enemies. So, you know, there's a lot of rattlesnakes in the room. The cobrattle can still aim and attack directly at the player. So that'll make navigating those rooms quite the intriguing challenge for the player, I think. No, Copper Nicholson, vice by definition is not a virtue. Not sure what you're saying out there. Yep, that's true. Exactly. So, and you can see, like, that idea is even presented here. This is to show the player, hey, look, the cobrattles using the rattlesnakes as sort of like meat shields while it attacks you from behind them. So that something like this makes it hard for the player to attack the cobrattles directly, while the cobrattles can attack the player directly quite easily. Not impossible, you know, there are some gaps there, but the player would have to position themselves very carefully if they want to do that without, like, navigating the platforming path. I don't follow Copper Nicholson. I really don't follow. No, Copper Nicholson, that's not vice that provides relief and joy. Relief and joy is provided by virtue, dude. Like, taking care of oneself is a virtue, not a vice. Well, at least we know for this cobrattle, they will be right there in the middle of this room, so that probably leave it around there for now. There's the rattlesnakes. Watch it, we can move this cobrattle over here, so we wanted to start with this from anyway. So let's add 4. I don't follow Copper Nicholson. You still haven't defined Vice, Copper Nicholson, so I can't really follow your train of thought here. I really don't follow, dude. All right. There's the middle, and up here, left a bit. That should work for that section. Alright, let's test that section. This section should be fun. Nice little introduction to the idea of using the rattlesnakes and cobrattles in tandem with each other. Alright. Oh, that's interesting. So the way this is currently positioned, the player would not be able to easily aim for the cobrattle from down here, which makes sense for what I'm going for here anyway. Okay, it's still possible to hit them, it's just not as easy because if you're even slightly off, you'll either miss the cobrattle or hit the rattlesnakes. Over here, that's a bit easier. And now once you're behind, of course, then you can do what you will. What was that? Alright, well, we're okay. So your definition of Vice, Copper Nicholson is pretty much anything that provides no benefit to humans or society, just a small amount of temporary pleasure. That's okay. You're misunderstanding that, Copper Nicholson. In my opinion, that's not necessarily Vice. So let me put it to you this way, Copper Nicholson. Food. Would you consider food a vice? Just think of it this way: you need food to survive, but food can also make you feel good. But no, hold it, Copper Nicholson. Food provides utilities to society. Without food, you die. But it can also make you feel good. No, Copper Nicholson, no. I think this is why I'm thinking that's not a really good definition of vice, dude. Because bringing joy to society is also a utility. Like, the arts are a utility, in my opinion. And even though people say, oh, well, what's the economic benefit? It's a social benefit, you know? So, just saying, like, anything that brings enjoyment as a vice is super, super, super misguided, in my opinion. And because the thing is, Copper Nicholson, things that can be virtuous in small quantities or in balanced quantities can become vices in excess. So, again, with food. Doesn't matter what food it is. It could be the healthiest type of food in the world, but if you eat too much of it, now all of a sudden, what was once a virtue has become a vice, because now it's a question of gluttony. Or other kinds of bad health stuff. So anyway, that's the spectrum I would consider vice on Copper Nicholson. when vice is, I think vice is tandem to saying a sin. All right. Whereas virtue is tandem to doing a good either for the self or the public that's not having. That's ultimately fits within the moral spectrum. Anyway, that's maybe I should move the rattlesnakes a bit closer. I think that'll make it harder to fight back from down below that way. Well, again, cobrattles, going back to gluttony here. You know, by definition, any food eaten in too much excess could become part of the sin of gluttony. But also by definition, you know, food taken in healthy quantities is fine. You know? And that goes for stuff that you might even consider unhealthy, so like, you know, your sodas, your candies, your things like that. You know, taken in moderation as like a once in a while treat, that's not a sin. It's when that stuff starts to control you or starts to really affect your health in a negative way, that's when it can become more sinful in that capacity. So like, no one's going to say, I made a lovely feast for someone. That's sinful. What would be sinful is that the person can overate and harm themselves, or perhaps you're convincing the person to eat way too much. Or maybe it's something that could be harming their health because they have a very specific condition. Well, no, Copper Nicholson, my point is it's like a spectrum. You have things that are properly balanced. That's in the realm of virtue. And when you go too far in excess on anything, then it becomes vice. That's not the same thing as saying pain the vice is misunderstood. Wholeheartedly disagree with that. Vice is a bad thing. Alright, I think that'll work. Question is, what happens if I jump on the rattlesnake? Nothing, apparently. Okay. Oh, I know why. I know why. I didn't give it the programming for this area. 1 second. Rattlesnake. Yep, forgot to add that. So, Copper Nicholson, I think the value of vice is in showing the value of virtue. So, there's a saying that you can't, there's a saying that light shines brightest in darkness. So, it's hard to have virtue if you don't have a standard to compare it against. So, I think therein lies the value of vice, and that's it. But that's more so to show that virtue is important, not to say that vice has... Not to say that vice is a good thing. Well, Copper Nicholson, it's a spectrum, so it's not necessarily two sides of the same coin. It's saying, hey, there are things that are pretty easy to say, okay, that's a good thing, or okay, that's a bad thing, so okay, that's a vice, okay, that's a virtue. And then there's situations in the middle where it's like, you're not really sure. It really depends on the circumstances and one's moral framework, whether there could be considered a vice or a virtue. So that should fit that problem. What do you think on the subject matter, Amlot, if you're still here? Okay, that works. So if I'm jumping on these, that seems okay. Okay. That works. Well, no, Topper and Epsilon, they don't create each other. They exist in parallel to each other. But they also reinforce each other. Vices reinforce the value of virtues, and virtues reinforce their importance over vice. I'd say the values of vice are, one, as a foil to virtue to show how important virtue is, and two, as a means to teach something. They report, well, it's like light and darkness, Topper Nicholson. How can you know light if you've never known darkness? Seemingly, how can you know darkness if you've never known light? If you had no means to compare the two, do they even exist? Or can you even comprehend their existence? That, I think, is an important point to make. But yeah, as I was saying, besides being a foil for virtue, the other thing that vice can do is, to the person who learns, the persons who learn from their own mistakes, from their own vice, will can become much more virtuous, because they've had their virtue tested, and they've shown themselves to be fallible. But if they learn from that, that can be important as well. Okay, that works. So what I'm saying, Topper Nicholson, is, so I think the difference here is, it sounds to me like you're actively seeking out vice, and I don't think that's a good thing. I think people, are naturally fallible, and vice is pretty much inevitable. The question, though, becomes are you actively seeking it out, or is it something that just happens because, you're human, you make mistakes? So, in that regard, I think it's important that vice exists, but I'm saying it's not something to be actively sought out. Virtue is what you should strive for, not vice. Alright, so this, I like this section, so there's enough room to actually hit the cobrattle, but it's very, very, very tight. So, Topper Nicholson, I think it's important to learn from, others' mistakes, whether real or fictitious. I mean, at least in Catholicism, the Bible has plenty of examples of vice and the horrible things that happen as a result, and those are used as to be instructional for people to not do that stuff. But if you see some vice and you're like, you know what, I'm just gonna try it because I'm curious, no, that's bad, dude. That can be a very, very detrimental line of thought. I see that as more medicinal, Topper Nicholson, than anything else. Again, if it was prescribed to you, to me, that's medicine, not the alternative. that's something and you're being told to take to help with your health. That's quite different from the connotation you seem to be providing. In other words, taking something you're prescribed properly by a trained medical professional is not vice. That's virtue. You're taking care of your health. That's a far, far, far cry away from being reliant on a substance for the sake of pleasure. Well, no, but Copper Nicholson and a trained medical professional still told you to take, to take certain things. To me, in my opinion, that's more so like a doctor telling you, okay, you have a cold, or you're feeling, or you're having depression, or you're feeling these other things. I think it would be good if you took this over-the-counter thing on a regular prescribed basis to help you maintain your health. You know, that to me sounds virtuous. They're telling you, okay, you have a health condition you need to take care of, and this is something that can help you do that. So that's not a vice. Well, no, Copper Nicholson, you said that they are the one who told you about these things. I'm assuming the therapist in this case. So there you go. That's not a vice. What would be a vice, Copper Nicholson, is if you were to actively seek this stuff just out of pure pleasure and become overly reliant on it. That's a vice. Because now it's like you're forgetting about life. You're only thinking about going after a particular substance. I think it's a form of being covetous, so that would fall into not gluttony, probably closest to envy if we're going off of the 7 deadly sins. It's the idea of like, oh, you need to have this thing over and over and over and over and over again to the detriment of everything else. I'm pretty sure you said that in the past, Copper Nicholson. You said something like, oh, I was speaking with my therapist and they told me to take this thing or to try this thing, and that's what I'm doing. Anyway. Well, no, but they approved it. That's important, Copper Nicholson. They're showing you, like, hey, it makes sense for you in this context to take this because you're experiencing this condition, or you're in this mental state. This could help you. I see what you're doing, and it's, you know, perfectly within the realm of possibility. So there you go. That is a far cry away from vice. Nope. Okay. See if we can. I'm noticing it's actually getting quite late. I'm noticing my mind's starting to drift as well. So probably should start to wrap things up here. But then, if you're watching this on Twitch, feel free to stick around for a raid. But if you're watching this on YouTube and you like what you saw, please consider subscribing on YouTube. It's free to subscribe on YouTube. You can always change your mind later, and it's for show support. If you're watching on YouTube, I hope you have an awesome night.